What is up, everybody? It's ABL213 back here with another video, and today I will be doing another challenge video. I will be attempting to beat Arkham Asylum without taking damage. And the reason I wanted to do this is because I got bored one day and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take on the entire Arkham Trilogy without taking damage. So Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. And this is the first of 3 videos, obviously, and I just decided to do those 3 because they're the best trilogy of superhero games and arguably the best superhero games ever made. So I wanted to challenge and play some just amazing games. And obviously this is a part 1 of 3. Next will be City, and then the final will be Night. The rules for this challenge are very simple. All I have to do is not take damage. I just have to play through the entire game, beat the game, and once I reach the credits, it's over. I may do some side missions, but I won't go out of my way if they're not necessary. And yeah, I'm not 100%ing the game, so I don't have to get all like 300 Riddler trophies in Arkham City. So beat the game, don't take damage. It's as simple as that. Now, let's get started with Arkham Asylum without taking damage. And to literally nobody's surprise, Joker breaks out, highly guarded by like 4 guards and Batman, but yeah, he's free. And then we're thrust into this short little tutorial section here, and a disclaimer is this is my like 4th time ever playing Arkham Asylum, so I'm more used to City and Night. Yeah, so it's gonna be tough. You'll probably just yell at me for getting lost, getting confused, not knowing what to do, not doing this when I'm supposed to. So that's my excuse if I play badly, or get stuck somewhere, that I'm not used to this game. But just heads up for later when I get lost a bunch. So after we walk around a bit, we find Zsasz has taken this cop hostage, and I know it's just like a tutorial for the detective mode and gargoyles that you can just use to swing around, but they really couldn't have given Zsasz something more in this game, because he is just like forced to be a side mission in City, which is an alright one, I'll give it that. And I think he's in Night a little bit, I can't remember right off the top of my head now, but yeah, just easy just tutorial mission here. Zsasz poses no threat whatsoever. Once we are done dealing with Zsasz, Harley Quinn starts televising to let Batman know what her plan is and how she freed Joker. And this is where the, I'd say, main plot of the game, or one of the mini plots of the game, start to kick off here, because she kidnaps Quincy Sharp, which shows us how she was able to free Joker and get control over the entire asylum. Because one person managed to take down this entire asylum here. So now, along with going to hunt down Joker, we have to go stop Harley Quinn and save Quincy Sharp. We meet up with Joker once again, and then he introduces us to a new enemy type, the Titans. And they are the worst enemy in the entire Arkham franchise, for me at least. These here in Asylum. The ones in City are fine, I can deal with them, but I don't know why. It's just my brain cannot just handle how to beat them, because sometimes I think that you can beat them like how you can in Arkham City and just do the triple stun thing, but other times I'll just completely forget that they can throw stuff and charge you. But besides me hating the Titans in Arkham Asylum, it's just a very boring introductory fight, and isn't that hard because you have a bunch of open space to move around and just throw a batarang at him when he's charging around, and then move out of the way, easy peasy. Here I was a little bit distracted, and I'm 90% sure I was watching a football game. I think it was the Eagles and Falcons, because when I was recording the footage for this, it was week 1 of the NFL, so I decided to watch a football game and just have it on in the background, maybe look at it sometimes, and I got very distracted, just trying not to die, tried to evade, and failed horribly. Yeah, I failed again. I just misjudged my dive and dove headfirst into the wall. Man, that's really embarrassing. This is the tutorial Titan fight, and I've already failed twice. Okay, there we go. I should not have struggled with that. Now let's see this cutscene, how we defeated this great Titan. And he is a heart attack. Wow, that is such an anticlimactic cutscene there. We do all of that work beating up the Titan just for him to have a heart attack and Joker to run away. This is one of my favorite things about the Arkham franchise just in general, is how you can use your detective mode and just become an actual detective. It's just really cool to have to, for instance, this cop goes missing and we have to trace the alcohol from his flask and then follow the fumes through it, and I just think it's really cool how that's how we have to end up finding him. It's not just running around mindlessly hoping we find him, but actually tracing his fumes to find out where he's going. And once we get to the end of the trail left behind by his alcohol, we find out that this cop, whose name I forgot, was pretty much just being a traitor and was killed by Joker. And after listening to the Riddler ramble on a little bit, we have to solve this riddle he gives us, and he wouldn't shut up. He was just monologuing, "I'm the Riddler," stuff like that. Usually how he does, so I had to wait for him to shut up, but then found the answer to his riddle, which is just the picture of Quincy Sharp, and that's really all you have to deal with the Riddler, because this is the only time he comes up is like a main part in the game. You obviously have like the Riddler side quest, but other than that, he doesn't really appear in the game, which, I mean, I would have kind of liked him to appear more like how he does in Arkham Knight and Arkham City, because the Riddler's cool. I like him. I wish he could have got more screen time and appeared like more menacing and more powerful in this game than he did. William North comes over to talk to Batman, and once we're done talking to him, we can do a little bit of walking, but after that we finally get to leave the asylum. I mean, I like the asylum. It's a great like location setter and just a great setting for this game in general, but it's also nice to see how they interpreted Arkham Island and just how nice it looks with Wayne Manor and all that, the Botanical Garden. It's just a very good looking game, especially for 2009. I know this is a remaster, but still, the game just looks very good, and it's nice to see Arkham Island. The Batmobile was being attacked by a bunch of thugs, so we have to go over there, beat them up, and once we do that, we are able to collect the explosive gel, which is just a good power-up. I mean, I really like all the power-ups in the Batman trilogy. I think they're all just fun, good to use, and work well with Batman's movement and help him just have increased and fun, better movement. And we have to trace Jim Gordon's tobacco trail because we find out he's been kidnapped. We have to go hunt him down, find out where he is. When we get to the end of the trail to find Gordon, we end up finding out that Harley Quinn kidnapped him, so yet another person we have to go free who's been kidnapped by Harley Quinn. I'm honestly just kind of surprised we've been letting her get away with this. I mean, first the just future mayor and the guy who literally runs the entire asylum, and then the commissioner of the police. Man, we're not doing a good job, are we? While we were trying to hunt Gordon, we ended up saving some doctors, and then we run into Scarecrow. And this is one of the many just sequences that I could use for why this is the scariest game in the series. Obviously, you have Bruce's dead parents in the body bags here. You have just Scarecrow himself being nice and creepy. I really like Scarecrow's design in this game as well. He looks really good in night as well. So Scarecrow's just one of those guys I think they got right. Character, his voice, design, and what he does to you, how he just messes with your mind. I think they got that very nice and very well in this game. I mean, look at him. He's just a Scarecrow. I mean, his face kind of looks a little bit lumpy, but besides that, he looks good, I think.
You're in my world now.
These Scarecrow levels are one of my favorite things about Arkham Asylum. It's just a nice breakup of pace from the 3D linear, just go do this mission pace that the game kind of has. But I still love this game, even though, I mean, I don't really mind the linear stuff, but I just like missions like this that break up the pace, where it's like, boom, you're now in a game of hide and seek 2D platforming level where the guy is 50 feet taller than you and can manipulate and change anything at his will. If he wants it changed, boom, he can change it, and you just have to kind of wait for him to pass so you can find a way to take him out. I also like how these levels just make you super terrified that he can just easily peek right around that object and catch you. Just look how close he is. He can just stick his little syringes and just murder you, but we're lucky, I guess he just doesn't think to look behind the pillar there. He just uses it to rest his hand. And after we use this oversized nightlight to take care of Scarecrow there, I mean, he's kind of weak if just that big nightlight there will take him out, but once we do that, shine the light right through him, we are finally out of that nightmare. After getting back on track after the Scarecrow mission, we find out where Harley Quinn is keeping Gordon hostage, and after we take out her goons, we'll end up taking her out, and it's just same thing as Zsasz, but it's just really easy. You just have to walk up, above her and then just do the takedown, and boom, you save Gordon. And after that, we run into Bane, who doesn't really look too good. And Joker, since he has control of literally everything, the Asylum, the Titan, the Venom. I think that's what Bane uses, right? It's Venom. Whatever, he fully just pumps him full of that, and he then tries to recreate the Dark Knight Rises. And this is the first true test of this run's difficulty that I would say, mainly because it's the first real boss. I mean, I guess you can count that introduction to the Titan that we had earlier, the one where he just dies and has a heart attack, but I don't really count that as a boss. I just think of the normal, like, traditional health bar boss like this. He'll call in some help, but it's our first real test, and if you're an idiot like me and like, I can do this, no, you cannot get close to Bane whatsoever. I do have a bunch of failed attempts like this with the Titans in this game because I think I can get close and punch them like that, but no, that's just me thinking from Arkham City. Here's an important lesson: never attack any Titan head-on, especially Bane. Do not attack Bane head-on. Here I'm just going to show a little compilation of all the times that I got hit and failed. And one thing I think is kind of interesting, or at least is kind of cool, is when you get hit in this game, the little white bar pops up above the experience and stays there. So you'll know if I got hit during combat by that little white bar appearing up there. I think it's kind of interesting how they made it, if you get hit, it stays there. So, you know I'm not cheating. I wish I was after getting hit by that rock there, but this just took me a couple of tries. So here's my 7th attempt where I actually beat the boss, and it wasn't that hard. I mean, 7 attempts is okay. I kind of wish I just didn't mess up, because a bunch of those were my fault, like the 2 where I charge Bane head on, just try and punch him in his face. Then quickly learn it doesn't work, or I just get kind of like teamed up on by the thugs, which makes me that's why I do not like the kind of boss fights like this where they just call in like a 10 to 15 just thugs at once, because you'll be like putting an animation reversing one while another one just comes over and hits you, and since you're already reversing one of them, you can't reverse the second guy that hits you, and you're forced just to take damage. Also, I just don't like how these fights, pretty much just once you take down all of the thugs there, it's just wait for Bane to charge you, throw a batarang, hit the wall, and then rip out one of his vacuum tubes on his back there. It's just kind of slow. Just wait, throw batarang, rip out the tube, and wait some more. I think they could have maybe made him a little bit more aggressive than he is, or give him a little bit more health to make him more aggressive, and just make it a longer, enjoyable fight. But it's a pretty solid one for the first real fight of this game. And you're now currently watching footage of Batman committing a hit and run live on Fox. Here we are at the Batcave for the one and only time. Well, I guess you come back to it, but this is the only time that you'll ever see it in the Arkham Trilogy. I think it's in Origins. I don't know, I've never played it. I probably have to one day, but it's not in Arkham City or Arkham Knight, so Arkham Asylum and Arkham Origins are the only places you'll ever see the Batcave in, which is... I understand it, but it just kind of sucks at the same time. I mean, I would have liked to see, like, you have to use the Batmobile to, like, just jump a cliff in Arkham Knight and just make a miraculous jump that no one else can make besides Batman to get into the Batcave. So after making some very stupid mistakes and very, very slowly getting my way up here where these 2 guards are, all I have to do is just take them out and then we can go into the manor. While we are exploring the manor, we discover that Aaron Cash and another guard was taken hostage by all these just Joker thugs, so we have to take them out and rescue them, and this mission makes me very reminiscent of the one at the very beginning of Arkham Asylum with Riddler. I meant to say City. But with the Riddler mission where you just swing from gargoyle to gargoyle. I don't know why I had a mini stroke there trying to say gargoyle, but just swing from gargoyle to gargoyle and take out the enemies. It's just like a fun, stealth-based mission like Batman should be. These are also one of my favorite parts in the Batman franchise, just the slow stealth missions where you have to take them out one at a time. While they don't know what's happening, all they know is that their friends are just dropping. They don't know who or where. or even how it's happening so quickly, and they don't know if they will be next. So Joker takes a doctor and a guard hostage, so we decide to commit property damage to go save them. I mean, we're saving hostages, so property damage is alright in this scenario, I guess. As the search for Dr. Young continues, we have to pick up on her fingerprint and just trace it like we did with that mission earlier with the alcohol. Like I said, one of my favorite parts is because it makes me feel like a detective, and since Batman is the world's greatest detective, it just makes sense, and I think it's just a really fun and cool mechanic just to kind of have to retrace someone's steps by like looking at fumes, fingertips, footprints, blood, whatever they left behind that you have to trace back. So then we go on a little adventure just following the fingerprints, just leading, I guess, following the little breadcrumb that's left behind for us. We get into a little fight, but nothing too hard, just about 4 enemies. Usually what happens when you have to follow a trail like this, they don't throw too many at you, which is good. Just something to kind of keep you on your toes, so you don't just kind of have to walk boringly for a while, you know, some excitement for you. But after that, we eventually find out where the fingerprints led to and pick out the Titan formula that she was secretly giving to Joker, so we can end up destroying it once and for all, so Joker can't get his hands on it anymore, and no one can really make the Titan formula anymore. Scarecrow is playing some mind games on us and makes the child visit his dead parents on the floor, and it's a sad scene, but I just can't help but think this is just DC's version of Uncle Ben. In almost every single adaptation in any movie, the character dies, just like Uncle Ben and Bruce's parents. I know it's obviously pivotal for like the story to happen, but it's almost every single movie that it happens, Uncle Ben or his parents just die. It's like, oh, that time of the movie, time to kill off his parents. After that, then we are in this Scarecrow mission, which I like this one a lot because you have to like get your own cover by using your own gadgets there, and Scarecrow doesn't really mind, I guess. He's like, oh, that box is there now, that's cool. But I think it's cool how they made the mechanic of you using your gadgets like the back claw to pull down cover, so he doesn't just murder you. But once again, these are some of the coolest parts for me. I love them. And one thing I do so much in this challenge is just make stupid mistakes and make things last so much longer. Like in the section earlier in this Scarecrow mission, I guess, the Scarecrow section where he spawns his skeletons, I just kind of like get over ambitious and just kind of forget or like don't react. I just like try and speed through it. But if you do this challenge, one thing I just kind of want to stress is just go slow. That's all you really need to do. Just go slow and make sure you don't take any stupid damage, like looking down at your phone while watching a football game like I was multiple times, getting surrounded by a bunch of enemies. Don't rush anything, like if you know you can't reach it, like here, how I'm just gonna wait here for him to repeat his cycle because I don't want to get all the way up to the light there and just die because of another stupid mistake and have to start over again, because this is an older game, like 2009, so it's kind of unforgiving with its checkpoints. It's like more recent games would spawn you like right in front of it after you die, so if you die or make a stupid mistake, you kind of have to, you will get punished because of how unforgiving some of the checkpoints are. We finally find Dr. Young, but she's been held hostage. Or is currently being held hostage by Zsasz, who, I mean, is just pathetic, honestly. He was just that little tutorial boss for swinging on the gargoyles, and then just that. I mean, man, they really did him dirty in this game by making him completely and utterly useless and not a threat whatsoever. Well, at least we finally rescued Dr. Young so she can give us the Titan formula so we can know how to stop it, and Joker rigged it to blow up. Well, I guess no more Dr. Young. We don't have to worry about her giving Joker any more information, I guess. And since Harley still is just beating up and holding Warden Sharp, yeah, that's his name, just completely kind of forgot his name there. Since she's holding him hostage, she just beats him, leaving blood on the floor, which was a mistake because now Batman can just walk through this entire building and track it, retracing all of his footsteps. I mean, I can't complain. I do really like these parts, and I think it's used most in Arkham Asylum. I'm pretty sure they just wanted to like put the mechanic of him being a detective and like make you use detective mode more in this game than the other ones. When we get back into the asylum, still looking for Sharp and Harley Quinn, she ends up letting Poison Ivy out, which is great because it's just another villain for us to have to hunt, take down, and then throw back into the asylum. We finally get to Quincy Sharp, who, he just looks like a potato or a gremlin. His model is not good in this game, but we finally find him and I guess rescue him since we're here and Harley Quinn's nowhere near him. But we get the little sequencer here, which it works very differently in Asylum than it does City. They completely changed it because in City you have to use some coordinates and then go to there and then just find it there. But in this one you have to mix the frequencies to get or to unlock the door or whatever you need to. Personally, I like the one in City better, but this one's kind of cool just because you have to end up matching up the frequencies and it's kind of nice. But once again, I think it's just my preference of I'm used to City, I've used it more, and I just like it better. Another element adding to this being a horror game is when you get back in the asylum, they have these enemies called lunatics that will just jump out of random corners and just attack you like that. And if they get a hold of you, obviously you'll do damage and therefore fail. And I find the easiest way just to get rid of these guys is always walk around in detective mode because they'll just be behind random corners, jump out, and just lunge on top of you, rendering you useless and making you restart. I don't want to call this like a mini-boss, but that's what it feels like. Harley Quinn just sends a bunch of thugs after you, and you just have to make sure not to do anything stupid, like have any stupid mistakes where you just go for a punch and it'll completely miss, because that's a problem with this game. You'll tell it to punch and Batman will just like completely miss the guy, even though this game's supposed to have like an auto-lock system. But that's one of the few gripes I'd have with this game. But as you can see right there, I'm just preparing for the inevitable, waiting for him to hit me. Like, you can get locked into animations like that if you go for a ground takedown on a guy and obviously another one's running up to you and punching you. And then you'll have some times where you can get locked into an animation of just beating someone up and then another guy punches you and you can't do much about it. But most of the fails are just your fault. Like, you won't see the punch coming, you'll go for the ground takedown, get locked in that animation, so most of them are just your fault. And wow, it's kind of crazy just like making sure not to go for a ground takedown and get forced into an unfavorable situation, like 4 guys walking up to you and just beating the piss out of you while you're just trying to take out one guy. So you just have to walk from guy to guy and make sure they don't pick up any of the guns, and if they do, that they wait to shoot you, because I guess it's on the easier difficulties, that's why, but they'll like get the gun, walk a few feet, and then just decide to like plant their feet and then shoot, which gives you a bunch of time just to take out all the enemies, survive until the second wave, do the same thing, don't make any stupid mistakes, take them out one by one, and just don't get swarmed. It's as easy as that. I don't really know what to call this, but it's kind of Harley Quinn's boss fight, even though it's not really a boss fight. She just sends a bunch of thugs after you and you have to defeat them, but after this you do eventually capture Harley Quinn, so that's why I don't like know what to call it, because it's not really a boss and it's not really a mini boss either, because that would like constitute, I would say, like a big enemy or a health bar or a challenge, but this is just thugs in the electrocuting floor. But never mind that, just you have to just hunt down Harley Quinn, just not get shocked by the floor, which I like the mechanic of shocking the floor because it keeps you on your toes, where you have to keep running between like the hexagon to hexagon just to make sure you don't get shot to death, and also avoiding these enemies which can easily just gang up on you and annihilate you. But I do like how they're not immune to the floor as well, so it's like you have to run at the same time, giving you a little bit of like breathing room, so you can just get up there before them and wait for them to come to you by running and then catch them off their guard. It's once again just many fails because of my stupidity or just unluckiness, like getting caught on the floor and just getting shocked, like a dude hitting me while I go to jump trying to get away from that floor. It's just pretty unlucky. After beating this fight, which is just once again just don't do anything stupid, take them one by one, just be on high alert, make sure you see when they're trying to attack you so you can reverse it and not just get hit. Make sure you stay alert on the floor because it'll start flashing. I guess it starts flashing like a fluorescent white color and then blue when it's electric. So just watch out for that, watch out for the enemies, don't get ganged up on, don't put yourself in a bad situation, and it's not that bad. And after we beat all the enemies here, Harley Quinn comes out and just like in Arkham City, gets embarrassed just because Batman just punches her and ends her. We scan her fingerprints, allowing us to get into the Botanical Gardens later and deal with Poison Ivy, which will be very fun. We can also just throw her in jail and kind of forget about her for the rest of the game, which is fine by me. And we are in the Botanical Gardens, and for some reason Joker has taken more hostages and put them in those bird cages up there. I just think that's so weird, why he just is like, I want hostages, but put them in bird cages in the Botanical Gardens. Once we free the hostages from their bird cage, we just go over to the wall, pretty much just punch it and find his secret door here. I mean, it's a weird place for a secret door, but I guess a good one, because why would you expect a secret door to be right there? And unlike the Harley fight, I think this is officially one of the mini-bosses of this game, because, like my description, a big enemy and a health bar checks off the list for me. 2 Titans, my favorite enemies in the entire Arkham franchise. I mean, off the top of my head right now at least, I cannot think of an enemy I hate more than the Titans from Asylum here. I just despise them. But surprisingly, this is the easiest Titan fight in the game apparently, because I failed it only once, and it was just because of my stupidity. I think I was watching the football game again. I looked down, take my eyes off the screen for some reason. But yes, actually, this is my second attempt I beat it on. And if you remember, the tutorial fight took me, I believe, 4 or 5. I don't know what that says about me. That's just kind of sad, honestly. After we get done killing those Titans, then the Batwing appears, which I think it only appears twice in the trilogy of Asylum, City, and Night, because it appears here to give you the line launcher, and in Arkham City it drops you the Batsuit, actually. It may appear in Arkham Knight, I don't remember, just yell at me because I'm wrong, which I probably am, but it would have been kind of cool to have like a mission, especially in Arkham Knight, seeing how that one's so vehicle-based. If we could have like flown that around or used it to shoot down some of Red Hood. No, I guess the Arkham Knight. Yeah, the Arkham Knight's just tanks and soldiers. We finally escape the Botanical Garden, finally get to see and have some fresh air, and we find out Poison Ivy has taken over pretty much the entire island. Just her vines everywhere. And those little plants right there, the little strawberry, no, you know, horrifying is what I'll call them, plants. As you see what it did to that lunatic there, it pretty much killed him, because that's what they do. They spit those little Dragon Ball-esque balls out of their mouth, I guess if you'd call it that, and they just home in on you. They can be destroyed with a batarang, but I'm too stupid to realize that and don't know that yet, so I just run for my life from it. And you have to punch them like that. That'd just be horrifying, going down to like Central Park and just seeing those just start shooting them homing balls at you that are just going to murder you. And you'll quickly find out them being paired with lunatics aren't the best, because the lunatics will charge you and either force you to just take damage or die to the homing missile like that. And unfortunately, you can also do that. If it shoots it off and you get stuck into that animation, you're screwed. You have to restart.
Did anyone catch the game last night?
That has to go down as one of the cruelest but best things that Scarecrow has ever done. I mean, Scarecrow is supposed to scare you, so what's scarier than the game absolutely breaking and crashing? Also, what's scarier than Joker putting a bullet right between your eyes? This is another reason, scariest game in the Arkham franchise, but I mean, I'll give it to this game. It's old, but it's great. This just perfectly gives the like scary aspect to the trapped in an asylum with all of Batman's mortal enemies and all of them trying to get revenge and kill him for what they've done to him. Another Scarecrow level, another awesome level. I don't know why, I just love like how imposing of a threat. Sure, imposing of a threat that Scarecrow is there, just of how he can raise skeletons from the dead to attack you, and how you're pretty much useless because of your size, and plus Scarecrow's just controlling you with the fear toxin. And also, this is, I guess, another mini-boss, technically. Maybe a boss fight, because you have to go 3 rounds. First one is just the normal soldiers, then the Titan skeleton, and then the last one is just Titans, like 2 Titan skeletons, or a Titan skeleton and the normal skeletons. But it's just a fun, quick boss fight with the, like, arcadey, kind of just jumpy style between the fighting, how you'll just jump from skeleton to skeleton. It's just really fun playing it. I think these are some of my favorite parts of the entire game. They're just so fun just to see Scarecrow at his best, kind of ability-wise and design-wise. I mean, his Arkham Knight one is okay, because he just doesn't exist in Arkham City. Which, I would have liked him to have at least something there besides that little Easter egg of his mask up on top of the bridge. He's a Batman character I like, and I like the way he was implemented in all of the games for him. Well, there's no more Scarecrow, I guess. Considering Croc has just taken him, yet again, hostage, I guess. Well, we don't have to worry about Scarecrow anymore. That's good. If someone asked me what was the defining point of what makes this the scariest game, I would say this right here. Killer Croc's lair. AKA the sewers. But just having to slowly walk across the boards, or you'll just anger him, to him popping up right in front of you, chasing you down, loud blaring music, just him just catching you and dragging you down to the depths of hell underneath the sewer water. It's just terrifying.
Feasting on your bones.
Also, on the death screen, he just consumes you. I mean, that's just honestly horrifying, just to add to the element of disturbingness and creepiness. Oh yeah, I'm 90% sure I completely forgot to explain why we're down in Croc's lair. It's to hunt for some poison ivy plants that just, like, avoid or just completely deny the effects of the Titan, and so yeah, we're sent down to the giant lizard's sewer lair to get some plant stuff to stop a Titan formula that turns humans into gigantic monsters. It is also terrifying when you hear the music but you can't do anything, so you have to spin around in a circle, pray to God you find him before he reaches you and drags you underneath the water. Croc can also attack multiple times in a row because he attacks me right here, then I'll walk a little bit, and then he will try and strike again, and then after I end up getting the plant goop, I guess, he attacks a third time. I mean, I guess it's programmed to attack after you get the goop, but I'm not sure how his patterns work. I just know you always have to stay on your toes, and when you hear that music, you just have to go into alert mode and look, and just do not lose him, because if you lose him, you will die and have to do this all again, because once again, if Croc catches you, even if you have like 3, you have to do all of it again. And that's not fun, having to slowly walk across all of those little cardboard, I guess no, wood pallets, platforms, slowly getting the goop again, not dying to Croc there, and just being trapped in a purgatory in his lair. After you collect the final plant goop, you luckily hit a checkpoint so you don't have to collect all of it again, but Croc learns this attack where he destroys the pallets and you have to run. And if you continue running after he destroys them, you'll obviously alert him, causing him to jump up. So you just have to constantly be on high alert, make sure to watch out for him destroying the pallets underneath your feet, or just jumping up, popping up, and getting you. And it seems I'm wrong and stupid. It's, you have to go collect a couple more of the goop. My bad. But still, you've collected most of it, then you get to him, where he changes his patterns, adds another one, even scarier and more intense. I'm not gonna lie, this one here almost made me have a heart attack, because I wasn't expecting him just to pop up right in front of me. So my only option was to run away, but he has gigantically long arms. While we're escaping Killer Croc, we get cornered, but luckily we set up the trap earlier with the explosive gel, and while he runs like a mangled child, we drop him down a hole. I mean, I guess the lethal, or the explosive gel isn't really that lethal because Croc is still alive, but that looks like it hurt a lot. I mean, especially to fall down a hole that deep. I guess he also is a lizard creature. There is a door to the right, which is where I'm supposed to go to, logically, you know? I mean, it tells me on the map that's where I'm supposed to go to. That's literally where it faces me when coming out of the door, and after pretty much just killing Killer Croc, but unfortunately, I'm stupid and don't listen to this, so this embarks us on a very, very, very long journey of me retracing my steps. I mean, it's kind of pathetic, honestly. I'm very embarrassed of what I decided to do, and I don't know why, but I retraced every single step I did, and you're gonna have to watch it, sped up, but you're gonna have to sit here and watch me be a moron. This will be 26 minutes of me retracing my steps. Yeah, you heard that right, 26 minutes. I retraced my steps for 26 minutes, tried to get into the Batcave by something that's not even possible, by jumping off the mansion, whatever, trying to get onto the cliff, pausing to skip through a speed run to see what he did there because of how lost I was. And obviously you won't have to sit through all 26 minutes because that would just be torture. So I'll put the percent that it is going to be sped up by on screen now. Yeah, sped up by that much. I don't know why I thought the best thing was to retrace my steps and not explore. And that's how you waste 26 minutes of your life. Just amounted to nothing. All that I got done in 26 minutes was I skipped around in a speed run and wasted my time. And had to go right back down the area that I was already at. So technically I had to retrace my steps twice. One to leave in the most complicated way possible, and once to get back in the most complicated way possible. 26 minutes later, all of that to enter the Batcave and to get a new weapon. I mean, I guess it was kind of cool cutscene, just to give more perspective of how Poison Ivy has actually taken over the entire island, from the manor to the Batcave to just the actual island, the sewers. She's taken over everything, but we do get a cool gadget. It's one of my favorites, actually, the Ultra Bat Claw, where you just fire 3 bat claws. You can rip down like destructible walls and stuff like that, and it will be used to combat the final boss. And I think that's the first time in the Arkham franchise, and only time that you are given a specific weapon to use against the boss. I mean, it has other purposes, but its main purpose, I guess, would be to beat the final boss of the game. Joker's trying to pollute the water supply, I guess just because he's bored and has really nothing much to do, but that causes us to have to go destroy the west pump and the east pump. And they didn't take that long, at least not over an hour. It's probably what you would think. But no, they took me 40 for both. It was just a bunch of stupid mistakes and me kind of forgetting how to fight the knife guys, but 40 minutes isn't bad for that easy objective, right? And oh my god, what is that noise? Is that another Titan fight in a very enclosed area where you can get pinned and ran over easily by a bunch of enemies? Yes, it is. Another Titan fight in a small area with a bunch of enemies crowding around you later. And I understand that's how they give these fights challenge. I mean, if it was a giant area, they'd be no challenge at all, but that's also what makes them annoying, especially because in a damageless run, it's dumb, because you'll just get crowded around by all these different enemies, or just blindside hit by the Titan there. And with the power of editing, I just cut out over 50 minutes of attempts. Yes. Well, I guess around 45 to 49, somewhere along there, but it took a long time. And this one is just because I was on high alert and finally stopped doing whatever I was doing, watching the football game or whatever. I finally just decided to be on high alert, just get away from the Titan when he was stunned, just so I can take out all the thugs, just so I don't get ganged up on them, and then try and isolate the Titan for last. That's my best strategy for beating these fights, or just like worrying about all the thugs so you don't get just like cornered or unlucky and put into an animation or not, because the Titans are so simple to deal with, which is why I hate these fights so much, because I feel like an idiot. It's such a simple fight, such a simple mechanic, that it just hurts every time I have to retry or spend like 50 minutes on one of these fights, because it's just throw batarang and beat him while he's stunned, run away. And yes, it took me about 50 minutes to beat a 4-minute fight. Yeah, that's fun. Then we go to enter the Botanical Garden for the last time in this game. It's kind of crazy how close we are to the end, right? Only 3 more missions after this. Here we are with the Poison Ivy boss fight, and I'm gonna be honest, I was just skipping through attempts because this is my 48th attempt at this fight, which actually is successful, but the 48th attempt here. And there is a checkpoint. This boss has 2 phases, obviously the first one and then the second one here. I guess just the best way to define the phases would be the no vine phase and then the vine phase. I guess rip vine, but yeah, I lost the first phase in there somewhere in the 48 attempts, but it's not that big of a deal. You just throw batarangs at the giant flower. Don't get caught in the vines. Don't get surrounded by the mind-controlled, I guess, officer guards. And this is probably the most annoying part of the fight here, is those little homing red balls. Miniature versions of the little flowers, that I also hate. That caused me to do a couple restarts, sadly, but yes. You just have to make sure you don't get screwed or stop when you're throwing the batarang. So you just have to constantly be moving like you have ADHD, constantly doing something, making sure you don't get hit and end up losing the fight to those balls right there. So after some more careful maneuvering, just making sure we don't get trapped or do anything stupid, we put the explosive gel on the glass orb on top of the plant protecting ivy. Not really sure how that works, but then we can congratulate ourselves because we did it. We killed nature. 2 missions left to go until this game has been defeated, but we quickly run into a roadblock. And great, look at this. It is a Titan fight. 2 Titans and a bunch of enemies drop down. This sounds like paradise to me. 5 hours. That's honestly all I can say about this is 5 hours. I have footage that's playing right now at like 2000% speed, I think. The other one is like 3, 5, and then 4 or whatever. It's by thousands percent of speed because 5 hours of failed attempts. Out of all these 5 hours I spent over the multiple days, I think it was like 4 or 5 days I tried this, like an hour a day. 5 hours and I didn't complete it. I mean, there was the point where I just gave up. I mean, I'm hella stubborn. I don't like to give up if it feels within my grasp. Like, if I can just feel like I can grab it, I won't give up. But I think this is just one of the times I throw in the white flag. I mean, 5 hours and I virtually made no progress. I got both the Titans down to their last health bar a handful of times, but it just wasn't worth it. I mean, like, I'm not going to spend like 6 or 10 hours on this video that no one's going to watch. Let's be honest. But I just decided to give up. I mean, I just felt like it was the best choice for me just to not stress about this stupid level anymore, just quit while I'm ahead, and not take up my entire freaking storage with this mission, just hours and hours of failed attempts on this mission. So, yes, I did give up, but you can still beat Arkham Asylum without taking damage, just I could not. So, if you had to ask me, can you beat Arkham Asylum without taking damage, I would say, perhaps you can, maybe, but I think you can, it's just I was not able to, so I couldn't for this video, but really just, the only other challenge is the final fight with Joker, the Titan Joker, and what pisses me off most is that this is the second to last fight in the game, because you have to fight Poison Ivy, go to the weird birthday party thing that Joker throws for you, and then fight these Titans, and then Titan Joker, and the game's over. So that's probably what makes me most angry, is that the stopping point and ultimately failed part of this game for me was the second to last mission. I trudged through every challenge this game threw at me, but I couldn't beat the second to last mission. A fun, interesting fact is that I spent almost as much time on this mission, this one mission, and failed so many times that was almost longer than the entirety of me playing Red Dead Redemption 2 with only throwables, which, that video, is 5 hours and 26 minutes. Yeah, I should have learned how to cut down footage and not include things that weren't important. Like here, this video could have been like 3 hours long, but I'm trying to learn to not make another 5-hour video. But I just find that crazy that that finished product of that Red Dead video was 5 hours, 26 minutes, and I spent 5 hours and like 10 minutes maybe total on this one mission here. I beat an entire Rockstar game, and those games are long. I think that had 34 hours of footage before I got to editing it. So 34 hours of just uncut, pure footage. And one measly mission fighting 2 titans and like 20 enemies. That shouldn't have taken that long. I've made an interesting discovery. Turns out I forgot a whole hour of footage. Yes. It was, no surprise, another hour of me fighting those 2 titans. So, that brings the total up to 6 hours. So officially, I've spent an hour longer on that stupid Titan mission, just beating 2 titans and a bunch of thugs, than that entire Red Dead video. This is the last time I'm going to bring it up, but that's still just baffling to me how I managed to get stuck on that level and do absolutely nothing for 6 hours. A waste of 6 hours doing the same thing, but expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. And here we are. Finally, the final boss of Arkham Asylum is that horrendous thing. And this mission almost made me lose my damn mind because the amount of times I had to listen to Joker go, "Excuse me, bats." I mean, it almost drove me to insanity. I think if I had to spend 6 hours on it like I did that last Titan mission, I would have just quit right then and there. I would have just put down Arkham Asylum and never touched it again. So about after maybe an hour, hour and a half, hour 20, somewhere along there, I beat it. I finally just beat the game. I mean, this is a kind of cool boss fight. I kind of like the Joker's design of how horrifying Joker infused with Titan is. That's cool and all, but besides that, it's just kind of an underwhelming fight. I'd say the hardest part about this fight is the knife guys, just because you have to, like, just continuously hit them, which will lead you to being vulnerable to getting snuck up on by the other thugs, but that's about it. There's no real difficulty, honestly, in this fight. Just take out all the thugs, Joker turns his back, pull him down with the bat claw, and then punch him while he's in the cardboard, and you win. Easy fight. I'm still kind of salty that I spent 6 hours on that second to last mission just to fail, not be able to do it, but I guess an hour on the final boss isn't that bad. And while Joker's back is turned one last time, his fatal flaw, we pull him down, get him stuck in the cardboard, and finish the fight in a cutscene. I mean, it kind of would have been cooler to let Joker have another phase, kind of, just besides pulling him down 3 times, but, I mean, whatever, I'm not going to complain anymore. It's a cool cutscene, cool design, good game. Besides that Titan boss fight doesn't really change my opinion on this game. I really like it. I mean, I love all 3 of the Arkham games. Just, they're an amazing trilogy, an amazing game. Joker gets punched in the face, taken to the hospital because I guess no one really wants to reprimand him. Can't we just kill him, give him like the death penalty for how many people he's killed? Felony, escape, kidnapping, murder because he just infused those people with Titan against their will and led them to being killed. So Joker should get the death penalty for this. But besides that, we are now finally done with Arkham Asylum damageless. It is possible, but I couldn't do it. But I do recommend going to do this challenge. It was fun, besides the Titan fight, but it's just a fun way to play a great game. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.